Hello and welcome to this presentation on HSA eligibility. My name is Erica Storm. I'm an attorney with several years of experience addressing compliance issues for employer-sponsored group health plans. Health savings accounts, or HSAs, are an increasingly popular way for employers to provide healthcare coverage to their employees. An HSA is a tax-exempt account where employees can accumulate funds to pay for qualified medical expenses. HSAs work in conjunction with a high-deductible health plan. Despite the popularity of HSAs for employees, not everyone is eligible to participate. First, let's talk about who actually owns an HSA. Unlike health reimbursement arrangements and flexible spending accounts, the employee, not the employer, owns the account. So while employers can offer employees the means to set up an HSA, the employer does not control the account. This means that HSAs are portable. An employee who goes to work for another employer can keep the same HSA. Eligibility to contribute to an HSA does not depend on working for a certain employer. One other benefit is that since the employee owns the HSA, the funds are not subject to the use it or lose it rule. Instead, they can accumulate from year to year. However, keep in mind that there are limits on how much can be contributed each year. Only an eligible individual can establish an HSA and make HSA contributions or have them made on his or her behalf. So who is an eligible individual? Anyone who is covered under a high-deductible health plan can be an eligible individual. However, some HDHP participants are disqualified. Anyone who is covered by disqualifying health coverage in addition to the HDHP can be claimed as a dependent on another individual's tax return, or is enrolled in Medicare is not eligible to contribute to an HSA. If an employee is covered by the HDHP and another type of health coverage that is not an HDHP, that other coverage will usually cause a loss of eligibility to contribute to an HSA. Types of coverage that will disqualify someone from contributing to an HSA are any health plan without a high deductible, traditional flexible spending accounts and health reimbursement arrangements, on-site clinics that provide significant medical benefits, and government-provided benefits like Medicaid, TRICARE, Veterans Affairs, and Indian Health Service benefits. There are certain types of coverage an individual can have in addition to the HDHP and still be eligible for an HSA. These are coverage for preventive care only, coverage that has a deductible at least as high as the HDHP minimum, and an employee assistance program or wellness program that does not provide significant medical care benefits. There are also certain types of permitted insurance, permitted coverage, and FSAs and HRAs that do not affect HSA eligibility. Insurance benefits that will not affect HSA eligibility are liability insurance, like workers' compensation or auto insurance, insurance for a specified disease or illness, and insurance that pays a certain amount per day of costs for hospitalization, such as hospital indemnity insurance. These benefits, however, must be provided through insurance and cannot be self-funded. Certain types of coverage can be provided without affecting HSA eligibility, even if they cover some medical expenses. These benefits can be insured or self-funded, and they are for accidents, disability, dental or vision care, or long-term care. There are a few types of health FSAs and HRAs that will not cause an individual to lose HSA eligibility. Limited purpose FSAs and HRAs are those that pay for permitted coverage, permitted insurance, or preventive care without regard to the HDHP deductible. A suspended HRA is one where the employee has elected to not have the HRA pay or reimburse expenses that are not permitted coverage, permitted insurance, or preventive care. The employer can still make contributions to the HRA, and depending on the plan design, the employee may be able to use the funds at a later time. An individual can be HSA eligible if a health FSA or HRA only reimburses expenses once the individual has met the deductible under the HDHP. If an employee has an HRA that will not pay benefits until after retirement, he or she will be HSA eligible until retirement. Employers often wonder how HSA eligibility is affected by the employee's eligibility for Medicare. The answer is that it is not. Eligibility for Medicare alone is not enough to disqualify someone from contributing to an HSA. The person must also be enrolled in Medicare for eligibility to be affected. The HSA rules usually refer to Medicare entitlement. This means eligibility and enrollment. Note that some individuals will automatically be enrolled in Medicare. For example, if they are receiving Social Security benefits due to age or disability. Others will need to enroll before they become entitled to Medicare. You may also have questions about whether other situations will affect eligibility to establish and contribute to an HSA. Here are some items that do not affect an individual's eligibility: the employee's income level, employment status, whether the individual is covered under the HDHP as the participant or the spouse, whether any family members are covered by non-HDHP coverage, or whether any medical expenses are even incurred. Eligibility for an HSA is determined on a monthly basis as of the first day of the month. This means that contributions to an individual's HSA can be made in any month where he or she meets all of the requirements to be an eligible individual. Because the individual owns the account, if he or she loses eligibility to contribute after establishing the HSA, the money that has already been contributed is not effective, and that person can continue to use the funds on a tax-free basis for qualifying medical expenses, or can withdraw funds on a taxable basis. Those amounts also continue to accumulate tax-free. The IRS, which regulates HSAs, does not restrict who contributes to an HSA. Anyone can make contributions to the HSA of an eligible individual. This includes, but is not limited to, the employee or account holder, a family member, or an employer. Funds in an HSA can be used to pay for qualifying medical expenses on a tax-free basis. A full discussion of what expenses qualify is outside the scope of this presentation. However, we should note that although the HSA is owned by a single individual, it can reimburse qualifying medical expenses incurred by that individual and his or her spouse and dependents. The individual's family members do not need to be HSA eligible themselves to have their expenses covered. Your broker has a full suite of documents related to HSA administration. Please contact your broker for more information. Thank you for viewing our presentation on HSA eligibility.